Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. In chapter 2, verse number 22, Lord Krishna is giving a summary of all the message that he is going to give to Arjuna. Chapter 2 is a condensed version. Vasansirnani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sanjati navani dehi. Just as a person gives up old clothes to put on new ones, so the embodied soul, having discarded the worn out bodies, puts on new ones. Very simple illustration is given. You go on keeping the cloth on, but when the cloth becomes torn, and I don't have to make too many details, ultimately you throw the cloth off. Sometimes you patch it up and put on again, but sometimes you have to throw it off completely and put on a new one. Apply it to the soul. At a deeper level, you are not the physical body. Physical body is, again, your outer cloth. But to just help the mind to follow something very practical, people are recognized by their physical bodies. And there is birth, there is death. There are bhavikaras we have explained. One is born, one is given a name. There is growing process. Then you become youth, young. A change occurs in your body. Then you begin to age and you die. 6 bhavikaras, 6 changes occur. Not only in your body, but all things of this world. You create a table. First, then you ask the carpenter, what is this called? He has already made something. It's this table. So first, something is presented to you, then a name is given. Now, suppose that happened to your grandfather, and that table is still in your house. So you say, it's not as strong as it before. Some worms have taken over this table. And a time passes by, the table becomes just aged. And then it dies. But what's common denominator in all the changes is existence in itself, which we will focus on gradually. But first here important is to understand soul. Soul is called individual soul, jiva. Brahman, the absolute, is called Paramatma, the supreme self. Just to give you again a simple plan. Brahman or Paramatma alone exists. But Brahman has with him a magical power called Prakriti, which is translated as nature. Prakriti takes three forms. Sattva predominating Prakriti called is Maya, cosmic illusion. Brahman through Sattva predominating Prakriti manifests as Brahma the creator, Vishnu the sustainer, Shiva the destroyer. That God, Brahman, through his magical power, adopts the role of creating the universe. Not only creating it, sustaining it, dissolving. But in all this, playing this role, there is no limitation. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, they are all one with Brahman. They don't need realization. Rajas predominating Prakriti, that takes the form of, that's called avidya, ignorance. Brahman reflecting in ignorance, Brahman passing through Rajas predominating Prakriti, now takes the countless forms, countless souls, just like the sun creates on the earth countless reflections. And every reflected sun is unique. If you have, say, 100 jars of water of different qualities, placed in the sunshine, you look in each one of them, there is the sun. But each sun is dependent upon the type of vessel, the type of water. And if the fish is frolicking in it, it shakes also. So that reflected sun is called the jiva, the individual soul. If you pour that water into another jar, the reflected sun has traveled. But, simple point to understand, you are entering into another personality. When we talk of reincarnation, whose reincarnation? It is Jiva's reincarnation. Suppose Jiva has incarnated as, use any name, as Walter. Nobody is around. After Walter passes away, it is not the Walter who reincarnates. It's the Jiva that reincarnates into another personality. Each personality has a different name. So a Jiva will continue to incarnate until it attains liberation. But if it has attained liberation, the other Jivas have not. They follow their own process. Every individual personality at deeper level is Jiva. You are not the psychophysical complex. You are beyond the psychophysical complex. This body-mind set is like a bulb, and Jiva is using it. And if this body-mind set is not useful for the Jiva towards its evolution, Jiva kicks it. At Jiva level, it is you who kick the body and mind, no matter how gory it may appear. People use the term kicking the bucket. So you have already kicked many buckets and will continue to do so until you become enlightened. If you are enlightened, you don't need body. Now, go to another step to have more clarification. Body means three bodies: physical body, subtle body, causal body. Physical body, you see, your legal identity is your physical body. Subtle body has three sheets, three layers: vital, pranas, mind and senses, called manomaya kosha, mind sheets. And then intellect and ego, that's called vijnanamaya kosha, intellect sheets. All these three go to form subtle body. That subtle body also goes on changing. So if you have reincarnation, you move from one body to another, your subtle body is not the same. Your mindset is different. Your memories now are different. So you don't remember your past life and what you did. Your worries and anxieties of the past don't go after you. You have a totally different mindset. So subtle body also has changed. And the causal body implies subtlest impressions in your unconscious. Even that unconscious that you had before had undergone a change. So these three bodies go on changing like clothes are changed in your day-to-day life. But deep down, the reality of your soul, reality of the reflected sun, is the sun. The sun never changes. So first your attention must go to the reflected sun and understand that even though your body is changing, everything is changing, you are not going to become extinct with death. You will exist. You will exist in another body. This gives you a little relief. But the purpose of the scripture is to take you to the third level. You are the sun. So therefore always remember that Hanuman's statement, Deha buddhyatu dasoham. As long as you are identified with the body, always try to place yourself as an instrument in divine hand. Don't allow your mind to be gripped by sorrow and misery. That happens when you think that you are the only all in all. And everything that happens, you are responsible. But the fact is, you are not all in all. You are very little. You know very little about yourself. You are handled by a cosmic source. So, as you begin to assimilate that, I am an instrument, you become a yogi, karma yogi, and I will go into those things in detail later. Jiva buddhya tadvanshakah. When you begin to understand you are the soul is a ray of the sun. So, sun cannot denounce you. That much is absolutely pakka, perfect. No matter how situations are, God cannot abandon you. And therefore you can go on developing devotion to God. And at the final level, when the water content is not there, not even the jar, there is no reflection. Sun alone is. The final level, Brahman alone is. Sun alone is the reality. All the reflections are not the reality. But as I have said, while one soul realizes I am the sun and become liberated, other souls have to go through a process. Because each soul is distinct. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati maruta. Weapons cannot cut the self. Fire cannot burn it. Water cannot drown it. Nor can wind dry it. That's another most important point to understand. The soul within you, as always taking you in two levels. First, the Jivatma, the soul. That soul will not be destroyed. Body will age, it will die. The soul will enter into another embodiment. Manner of death may be of different types. Some people die in war. They cut down by bombardment and things of that nature. People die by flood, by fire, or by wind, whatever. Also good to understand that these elements, the 5 elements are there. Ether gives you spaciousness. So when you are dancing, you need ether, space. When a bud blossoms, it needs akasha. Then there is air. Air element is the basis of your touch sensation. Fire, it allows you to see forms, colors. Forms and colors, they are all fire element. Water element, your taste. These elements have many implications. There are psychological implications. If you have more of water element within you, you have more mamata, feeling of mindness. And sometimes it spills over. Too much water. Things are not yours, you start calling them their bad. I'm just giving a simple, humorous way of saying. An earth element, that gives you a sense of heaviness. Also, smell. All these elements, they are recognized in temples. Whenever you do worship, there is offering of paste. That's for the earth element. Offering of water for the water element. Candle lights, etc., for the fire element. Incense for the air element. And blossoming flowers for the akasha element. So all the elements are recognized in ritual worship. And these elements exist in your body. From practical point of view, they are terrible enemies of each other. Fire, water, air, earth, they don't mix together. Therefore, Purana describes Shiva Parivar, the family of Shiva. Family of Shiva, Lord Shiva is Brahman. This whole world is his family. What type of family he has? Ganesha rides on a rat. A rat is the earth element. Shiva is decked with snake. Snakes are the water element. The rivers are described as serpentine shape and movement. Rat and snake, they are not friends. And then Kartikeya, she was one son, rides peacock. And peacock and snakes, they are not friends. And Durga Devi rides lion. And lion and peacock, etc., they are not friends. The lion is the air element. For Akasha element, Shiva has blue throat. Also, in a highly figurative way, Shiva rides bull. The bull is an animal, but here is a figurative aspect of immense power that represents the Akasha element. Also represents Dharma. What I'm pointing out to you, that your body is composed of universal elements. And all those elements have played a wondrous part. They are terrible enemies of each other. And yet look at the power of your soul. Soul in the process of evolution, guided by Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva, guided by God, is invested with body. And body is a mixture of these elements. You have fire in you that always must maintain that fire. Maintain all the elements. The moment there is disharmony of the elements, you are sick, you become miserable. Therefore, the statement that fire doesn't burn you, water cannot destroy you, air cannot blow it away, you are the example. They are all there, but they are all in harmony. That's one way of looking at it. Another way, in a blunt way, your soul is not going to be destroyed by anything that happens in the world. Achedyoyam adahyoyam atledyo shoshya evacha nitya sarvagata sthanu rachaloyam sanatana. That Paramatma first you are given the idea, the soul within you may move from body to body, but it is never destroyed. Now you are put into another level. That's the soul, the absolute self. Cannot be cut down by weapons. Fire cannot burn it. The self is eternal, all-pervading, immutable, stable and ancient. Therefore, it cannot be cut, burnt, drowned and dried up. Some of these attributes are good to understand. Nitya, Sanskrit word Nitya means eternal. Anything that is eternal cannot be localized. If it is localized, it is dependent upon time, space. It can't be eternal. Therefore, another adjective, sarvagata, all pervasive. Since it is all permeating reality, where can it go? It is steady. Sthan, immovable, and timeless. Sanatan, absolutely ancient. How ancient? Older than time. How much older than time? That would figure that out. The purpose of the study of scripture is to allow your intellect to gain insight into the self. Who am I? That I am is the Paramatma, Brahman, the absolute self in you. And that self is all permeating. There isn't an atom, there isn't a particle of matter where self is not there. If you come to realize I am the self, then think of the glory of I am. That I am is in every particle of the earth. That I am was, is, and will be always. Through countless variations of nature. That self is, that I am is millions of light years away, shining somewhere in the sky. That I am is there in the depths of the ocean. In other words, all that you can think of through your mind is permeated by the I am. Pure consciousness, absolute awareness. So, Krishna leads you first to understand that death is not your termination. Then to understand this soul within you is not an individualized entity. It is like the sun. Sun again is only a kind of a simile. Avyatyoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nani shochitum arhasi. This self is said to be non-manifest. Non-manifest means the senses cannot perceive the self. Inconceivable. Even the mind cannot conceive it. Mind can use various imaginations. Your intellect can use various concepts. No matter how bright is your mind and how bright is your intellect, you cannot exactly bring to your mental level, that is the way God is. All that you will be using is concepts. You may be better in your concepts. You can see the evolution in your concepts. But you cannot bring Brahman as a concept in your mind. Inconceivable and unchangeable. Changes occur in every plane, physical body, your vital, your mental, your intellect. Changes continue as long as you are operating through a conditioned mind, The Raj Yogi term is chitta. As long as chitta is there, the deep unconscious within you, and your soul is under the control of that chitta, as long as that is there, you are subject to the world process, subject to birth, death, fear, etc. But knowing that the self is beyond the mind, beyond the intellect, beyond the senses, you should not grieve. The idea is, if you know that way, if you come to realize, I am not the body, not the mind, not the senses, you must realize that that type of realization is not an intellectual insight. But you use the very same intellect. Allow the intellect to be purified in a spiritual way through satsanga, through meditation, practice of inquiry, and so many things. Then the very same buddhi, when it is purified, it turns into viveka shakti. A discriminative light emerges within it. And that allows you to attain liberation, not intellectual concept. You cannot just go on studying book after book. This book didn't give me liberation, let me get another one written by masterly person about philosophy. And you can go on and collect data of amazing type. But that intellectual satisfaction is far from liberation. Just like blind men trying to figure out what an elephant is. But once we have intuition, a vision, that lifts the veil of ignorance. But even before you have lifted the veil of ignorance, relax. There is an end of all your misery and sorrow. Athachainam nityajatam nityam vamanya semritam tathapi tvam mahabhaho naivam shochitum arhasi. O great armed Arjuna, even if you consider this self to be subject to ceaseless births and deaths, you should not grieve. Now, attention is directed towards different views, towards the self, towards the soul of a human being. The materialistic view is there, this is body and mind, that's what we are, finished. There's nothing more. And Krishna says, if you really have understood it, and your mind doesn't go any more than that, I'm just the body and mind, and it is going to die. Once you have known something, how it is going to behave, how it is going to exist, having known it, why should you be grieving? The river is flowing. One day you went to take bath, you liked it very much. Next day you go to take bath and someone tells you, a smart one, it's not the same river. That water has gone miles away. There is no reason to grieve. That's the nature of the river. Once you know things as they are, there is no question of grieving about it. two views. One, your body is what you are. Then there is Buddhistic view, which is not real Buddha's teaching. It's just because any high philosophy becomes distorted by limited minds. And that is called Vijnanavadi Buddhist. People who believe intellect sheath is the self. There's nothing beyond intellect. Then intellect in you goes on changing. It is a part of matter. Every moment, matter changes. Like a flame, every moment it is changing. Even though it looks, it's always the same, it is not. It's moving similar to similar. All your thinking, all your understanding is a matter of sequence. Thought wave after thought wave creates your understanding. But behind all these successive frames of understanding, Buddha called it nirvana, the absolute void. Vedanta calls it Brahman. Vedanta also calls it the Paramatma. This is your real self. So all these are philosophical technology. And there's no need to be confused. Simple point again to understand. If your understanding is deep, you should not be grieving. And there is a subtle connotation that no matter how much you know that the body is meant to die, you do grieve. Because deep down your soul has not accepted. The reality cannot be outstepped. So therefore, profound understanding, the idea I am the body, that does not stay with profound understanding. Profound understanding, the self. I am the self. Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyakta nidhananyeva tatra ka paridevana. O Bharata, these bodies consisting of the elements were not visible before birth. They will not be visible after their death. They manifest in between birth and death. Therefore, why should you grieve? All this logic is being given so that your mind becomes prepared to listen to many more philosophical insights that will be given to you. Everything that you see didn't exist before its birth. It will not exist after its death. Birth and death are on the head of everyone that has been created. Your existence as body in the context of the universe, how little is your existence? Bodily existence, from one can die any time, but even suppose you have a mature type of a health, and so therefore you can die by 80, 90, 100, or may 125. But one way or the other. Within this 100 years or within this 90 years, in a world that is so vast, how much are you, how little you are as a body. And before this body came to exist, it's not even like a worm, it is much smaller. What was it? Where were you? When the body moves away, where will you be? Your mind is gripped with it's just a little tiny particle in the vast creation. Some poetic description also is given that it's just like you are in a hall and a beautiful bird comes through one window and goes through the other. You don't know where did it come from. You don't know where did it go. But the transient stay of the bird keeps your mind so involved. Therefore, work upon your mind, not to allow your mind to be overwhelmed with grief, misery, sorrow. Ashyaryavad pashyati kashchidenam ashyaryavad vadati tathaiva chanyah ashyaryavad chainamanyah shrunoti shrutvaapyenam veda nachaiva kaschit. Some behold the self as a wonder. Some talk about him with wonder. Others hear about him with wonder. And having heard about him, none are able to comprehend him. That's a wonder. Human mind always wants to experience thrill, surprise, wonder. But of all wonders, gaining insight into the self is the wonder of wonders. When you study the stars and begin to realize how vast they are, how far away they are, how shining they are, and say, what a wonder. But that wonder is very little compared to your inner revelation. I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am a ray of God. I am beyond time, space, causation. All the WWW exist under me. I am pure consciousness. By WW I mean why, where, when, all that website that comes in your consciousness. You are beyond. Even a computer is a wonder. But here is a bigger computer. In Mahabharata, there is an episode. King Yudhishthira is a virtue incarnate. He meets a yaksha, a spirit who has come to test his divine qualities. That spirit yaksha asks a question. What's the most surprising thing in this world? And Yudhishthira says, day by day people see others dying. Day by day you hear of someone dying. With modern progress, you don't have to wait day by day, minute after minute. But the idea that I will be also subject to death, that idea doesn't strike the mind. That's a great wonder. And the wonder has a reason, because in reality, self doesn't die. So deep down your heart cannot accept it. And with this I will conclude. Om Shanti Shanti.